that, then yeah, I would use sheer. Satin, another one, don't really use it. I don't like the sheen. I don't like how it looks. I always compare satin to bad makeup. If you have bad makeup, I've had this sometimes too. And it's like really white and you get the flashback from the camera. That reminds me of satin. Satin is real shimmery, real shiny. Then satin is cheap and it holds wrinkles. Most of these blends I don't like because it holds wrinkles. But then it's just, I've seen some backdrops with satin look freaking amazing. But it's like really theatrical, like 20 feet tall, like really, like Indian themed or something like that. But normally, unless it's like a christening or something that kind of gives you that, I don't use satin. I really don't. Unless I'm using it for valance. I think some of you may have a satin valance, and you'll see why I use it. Poly blend. Again, don't use this. I don't. It's really thick. Again, it holds wrinkles. And poly blend you pretty much would use for churches, schools, stages, not premium draping. For one, it's thick and it holds wrinkles, and then it costs more. So I wouldn't suggest using that unless, how many guys are draping with the grass walls? Okay, so something like a grass wall, because if you, especially if you have the quality not that great, you can see straight through it. So I would get a poly blend as my backing, so you don't see straight through it. I use that for that. Or if I'm I'm draping an area that has a big window and they don't want the light in, I'll use a poly blend like on the back where you can't see it, but at least it's blocking out the light. So if you're trying to block out light, poly blend is amazing for that reason. Banjo, definitely don't use this. Now I think Georgia Expo has this blend in so many different colors. So many people get it because it's like, oh my God, they got all these colors and it's cheap. But then they get it and see the texture is like, oh, what did I do? They're like, did I tell you don't get it? So the people I recommend banjo for, because you can get away with it, is those that do kids parties. If you're doing like some Tonka truck theme or some firehouse, whatever, you can get away with banjo because the colors are very vibrant. And it just gives that tone. Just trying to do some quinceañera or some sweet 16, no. I don't care if it's $1 a yard. Do not get banjo. It's going to ruin the entire mood of the backdrop. Make sense? Accessories, you guys will see these. First thing is the pole covers. These are the pole covers. A couple companies have them, but they're like really tight pantyhose. I don't really use these because I like the classic pole covers that I make with a whole drape because it just gives it a more classical look. But I will use these for things like if I'm doing tent draping or something like that. And those that's in the, ooh, that smells so good. Those that's in the, the membership, you'll see how I use those when it comes to tent draping. That's the main time I really use it with tent draping. C hooks and S hooks. You guys have these in your bags. I use those for hanging embellishments, right? Hanging frames, hanging chandeliers, hanging anything I need to hang for, or suspending in a canopy. Anything I need to hang from my crossbar. Main thing is, in which I put both of these in there, but just so you really can see the difference, because we had some young ladies in the last class, got them from Amazon. Complete dud, don't work, right? C-hook is going to be way more durable. So if you have I have a few chandeliers. My crystal chandeliers are really heavy. It's crystal. Really heavy, really big. You would not want to hang that or attempt to hang that with an S-hook because the S-hook is not going to hold it. A S-hook don't hold that much weight. You would want to always hold that with a C-hook. Now if you have the smaller, like little gypsy chandeliers, you can get away with either one. But the biggest difference, and notice how it's swerved, right? Kayla, can I borrow yours? If you are hanging something, you see how this is a flat drape. Thank you. Okay, so this is a flat drape, right? So some people will have a flat drape and may just want to put a frame here. If that's the case, you don't want to use a C-hook because if you hook it, the other hook is going to penetrate your fabric. It's going to push it back. You get that? In that case, if you have something flat, you always want to use an S hook because the hook goes out. You got that? Never use a C hook if you have flat fabric because the C hook going to push your fabric in. You're going to see a big dent right there. So if you have something like that, use a S hook. And that's pretty much the only reason you would use an S hook is when you need, when the hook cannot penetrate the fabric. Otherwise, I'm going to get you. Otherwise, if you have different panels, you will push the C hook in the middle of your two panels where they meet. That way this goes through. Y'all got that? So that's the biggest difference. But so many people are like, oh, how you hang that? Da, da, da. That's the biggest difference with S hooks and C hooks. C hooks, I don't care who sell them. I highly support event decor with those because they're the only people that I know as of now that hold them that great quality and is not breaking the bank. I think you get like 50 for, I can't remember the price, but great price for what else you'll see online. S hooks too, great price for what you'll see online. I love Amazon. Y'all see I promote a lot of Amazon stuff, but when it comes to this, Amazon ain't got it yet. They may have it later, but they ain't got it yet. What was your question? Mm-hmm. Same, honestly, either one. It depends. So if you have openings in your drape, like it depends on how many drapes you use. So if you have openings in your drape because you're using 6 to 8 or something like that, I would always use C hooks because they're more durable. So I would put one in between the breaking of my drapes and then hang my curtain. But if not, and you have something flat, definitely use your S hook. You talking about crystal curtains? No, that's all I use. So is yours on a rod or a flexible? Yeah, So do you have the little tabs, the little circle holes? Yeah, that's what I use. I tell you what, I got a video on YouTube to show you how to do it. Got that. Last thing is the crossbar hangers. Now, I did used to use, mainly for the design we're doing today, because we are doing 4 layers, but 3 layers with drape. I used to use these long 9-inch, 10-inch. I no longer use those because we use so much drape. You're at risk of it tipping because it gets really heavy in the front. So now, I don't know if y'all saw my video. Y'all see my video when now I showed y'all how to use these two? Yep. Okay. So now I use those two to evenly distribute the weight so it's not tipping or falling or anything like that. And today, in our designs, we'll be doing both because I want you guys to see the difference. So those that's using these, backdrop will still look amazing. We're going to secure it and put some extra weight on it. But I want you guys to see how it's just like, oh my God, my backdrop going to fall. You don't want that feeling. You do not want that feeling. It's not worth it. So definitely, this is the way I use it now, and I just feel a lot more safe. These are the weighted bases I was mentioning. So those that, like earlier, when we use the 10-inch ones, we will be using the weighted bases. They are perfect because they give you 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Any of you guys, because you will be when May, June, all that hit, draping outside, they're great for that. Although I got a new video coming soon, show you something else, but they are great for that because it's just extra weight, easy to carry, and they're rubber mats. These crossbar hangers, you only would use if you're doing like a 4-post canopy. You're trying to suspend a chandelier. I did a video on that. Who saw that? No. Oh, yeah, so you only use that then. These are extensions. Some people get the kits, or not these kits, but will get the fixed units because they don't know what to buy. And they think that they're stuck with the 8 feet because they normally come 8 feet. But they do sell extensions that would give you more height, maybe 10 feet, 12 feet, but it's just an inconvenience in how you got to assemble them. So I mainly put that up there because some people do have those fixed units and they think they're stuck at 8 feet. You're not. You can go get extensions, but it's not as great. The 2.0. So the 2.0. Y'all hear me talk about this. Not much, because it's not something I really highly promote. I don't like it. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like it. I don't like it because I do pole covers, like the traditional way. So in order for my pole cover to work, I would need that extra inch on that upright. When you're using these, the Crown 2.0, ball caps, whatever it is, that is perfect for perimeter draping because it's just flush. There is no extra access on top of that upright. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes it like...
It's completely flat. And if you're trying to create a pole cover, it'll slide right off, unless you jerry rig some stuff. I ain't teaching y'all how to jerry rig because you ain't come here for that. You can jerry rig on your time. I'm gonna teach you how to do it the right way. But if you have a 2.0, I'm not saying you can't use a pole cover, traditional pole cover, but you really gotta do some finagling because it'll just fall right off. You got one?
I learned it and I went shorter.
Yeah, I don't really like it. Elements of design. Okay, how can you guys use pipe and drape? Tell me. How can you? How have you, or how can you use pipe and drape?
I'm using mine.
It was a backdrop?
Yeah.
Okay, who else use it differently than a backdrop?
I only did it like 4 times, but one time I used it to like fire on the wall.
That's key. I'm gonna tell you guys why that's key. So you guys today, we're learning premium draping, right? However, I don't want you to be closed off and be like, all right, I'm only gonna go after these $2,000 backdrops. I get it, that's the goal, but there's other ways to still make that. Okay, who's that? All right, give me 5 minutes. So there's other ways to make up that, right? Now, due to COVID, people are stuck with those ugly venues, the Post, the VFW, the cafeterias, the gyms. First thing they're going to want done is the walls hidden. So perimeter draping is just as easy as a premium backdrop. It's just more linear, right? So don't be closed off to the, to things like that. People are even doing garages. Some people out there, they got the money, but guess what? The venues ain't allowing them to spend the money. So they got to come up with alternatives. That's where you guys come in. This is where your creative nature comes in. Go out there to people, the fantastic yards or whatever the case may be. Let them understand how you can flip the room. And it can still give them that amazing look, amazing feel. So that's one way you can use it. Hide and ugly walls. Room dividers, if I wanted to create a privacy area, you could use pipe and drape with that. And same thing as if I wanted to transform this small room into an intimate gathering or whatever, I can easily drape the perimeter draping. I could, if I wanted to do the floating fabric like a tent, I could. You could totally transform a room and it never look the same. Reasons for pipe and drape is to direct traffic. If you want them to go a specific way, it'll add ambiance because the lights can go down low. You could throw some up lights, some white sheer or something like that. Totally now looks romantic. And embedding. If I wanted to create a room within a room, I would just section off an area, create a room within a room. Any questions?
Yeah. So you've taken the Iowa class, so you know how they talk about the fabric. So they promote this fire retardant fabric, and what they taught us was that, well, how are you going to do that? You want to make sure all your fabric is fire retardant, because if the fire marshal comes in and they see that your fabric is not, they're going to basically tell you to take everything down.
So it depends. They will. So one thing is, I've been doing this a while. Never had that happen. But what I have had happen, some venues, so you got to be clear on the client you're serving. So if you know you're going into venues that require it, I would definitely suggest you get IFR, flame retardant fabric. Costs maybe $2, $3 more, but if that's your target, you're going for them big venues, invest in the fabric. I would hate to have this $10,000 client and, they pretty much sold because they love my work, but I can't produce the work unless I buy more fabric. To me, that's not going to make sense. So if I know that that's what I'm going after, I'm going to invest in IFR. Some of my stuff is IFR, some of it isn't. I no longer do events. I teach. So where I go, which is hotels, don't require that, right? But if I knew I was going for those 50,000, 20, I definitely would invest in IFR. So it's pretty much just knowing what your lane. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys you have to get that because some of you guys just doing kids parties. It's not required. It's not required. Some of you guys doing luxury weddings. Yeah, it is. So it just depends on where you are. I'm going to help you understand the difference between each and let you make the choice. All right? I'll be back, guys. I'm going to check on your lunch.